Hello and good morning, students. Once again, good to see you in this 25th revision lecture in the series of revision lectures that we are doing. Today, in this 25th lecture, we are going to revise the topic punctuation and capital letters, which we have learned in details, in depth earlier in the regular lectures. So, as usual, to begin my discussion with you, you can see on the board I have put up the relevant question that I keep asking myself with the word what. So to start and understand, we need to answer this question, read the answer that is written on the board, and then we will discuss we continue our discussion. We'll have a look at the board. What is punctuation? Punctuation is the correct use of various stops or marks in writing so as to make the meaning of a sentence or a passage clear, isn't it? That's the actual meaning of the word punctuation. So it's very important to apply punctuation marks to make the meaning of a sentence or a passage clear. We discussed about this with the help of passage in the earlier lecture. Well, we will be taking up sentences to understand or practice with passages as well as sentences. But have a look at the sentence that I have tried to put up over here, something different, isn't it? The camel said the Arab is a useful animal. So you can find two pieces of direct speech over here, isn't it? Quoted speech, you have the words in the quotations over here, the open and close quotations. The camel said the Arab is a useful animal. So just observe the way I am taking a pause over there. Once again I will read for you. The camel said the Arab is a useful animal. But have a look at the second usage of the punctuation mark, that is the inverted comma. The camel said, I am taking a pause over here. The camel said the Arab is a useful animal. See how the entire meaning has changed? So it's very important to apply the punctuation marks in the proper place. So punctuation is the correct use of various stops, the correct use of various stops or marks in writing so as to make the meaning of the sentence clear or the passage clear. Well, if this is not used, it's not correct. You will not be able to derive the meaning of what the reader or the speaker is saying, and the listener will not be able to understand the idea or the message being conveyed. Just as happened over here in these two sentences. In the first one you can see the message is very clear. The camel, so this is the word spoken by the Arab, said the Arab. What did he say? Is a useful animal. So if I just club these together, the camel is a useful animal, and I put this at the back over here, said the Arab, the meaning is clear. But in the second one, the second sentence over here, the camel said, so it's referring to as the camel said something. All the wordings are the same. You can see over here, the wordings are exactly the same. The camel said the Arab is a useful animal. But just because I have changed the punctuation marks in different places, the meaning has completely changed. So you will agree with me that applying the punctuation mark in the right place is also very, very important. The camel said, so here the camel is saying, what is the camel saying? The Arab is a useful animal. Is really an Arab a useful animal? No, Arab is not the useful animal. And we didn't mean to say this, we mean to say the first one, but due to the incorrect use of punctuation marks, we have messed up with the meaning of the statement. Therefore, it's very important to learn about the correct use of the various stops or marks. Well, the principal stops are, we've already learned about this, so once again a refreshment for those things, comma, isn't it? Very important. You see the comma changed, the comma was the game changer over here. Comma, semicolon, colon, full stop, interrogation mark, that is the question mark, exclamation mark, or the exclamation, what we called inverted commas used to speak the direct speech or to say what exactly the speaker has said, and the apostrophe. These are the 8 principal stops. Well, this is not all. There are more in addition to this. We've learned about this in the regular lecture. Well, before I take you and discuss with you about each one of them a little bit in detail, Did you ever think about where did the word punctuation or where did this punctuation got derived from? Well, let me tell you, the word punctuation has been derived from a Latin word called punctum, which means stop or stopping at a point. In writing, therefore, the word punctuation has been derived from a Latin word punctum. So I hope you will remember this. Let us now look at the picture being displayed on your screen and discuss about each one of these punctuation marks a little bit in details. You may possess good language skills and know how to express yourself in language, but without the knowledge of punctuation marks, your skills, especially written, is incomplete. A piece of writing which does not include punctuation marks is difficult to read as compared to a piece of writing which carries proper punctuation marks at the right places. To make an impact on the examiner, the reader, it is important for you to take care of these little marks. In a lighter note, it can be said that punctuation is the traffic light for reading. It tells the reader when to pause, when to stop, and how to proceed. The comma represents the shortest pause. It is used to separate two or more words of the same part of speech, nouns, pronouns, adjectives, verbs, and adverbs. As you see in this example, Amit, Praveen, Reena, Aman, and Ravinder went to the fair. So here the words Amit, Praveen, Reena, Aman, and Ravinder, which are individual nouns, have been separated using a comma. In the second sentence, you see you, he, and I go there. We have three pronouns over here, you, he, and I. We have applied the comma between you and he. Finally, we put the conjunction I and completed the sentence. The third, it is a long, dull, and wearisome journey. So the adjective describing the noun journey has been separated by commas. In the fourth sentence, Ashoka, the Great, ruled over a vast empire. If you carefully observe, you will find out that we've used the comma in the form of an apposition over here. Well, when you talk about a noun and again you emphasize about that noun, about the same thing, it's called an apposition. So Ashoka, comma, the Great, again written the comma, ruled over a vast empire, is the comma used in apposition. The semicolon indicates a pause greater than a comma. It is used in this manner. She did not work hard, therefore she must fail. So in this sentence you will find a semicolon as well as a comma. The semicolon expresses a longer pause, whereas the comma expresses a shorter pause. The next sentence, Rajesh failed, for he did not work hard. Study harder, otherwise you will fail. So you see in the second and third sentence, we had the semicolon expressing a longer pause, and in the third sentence, we had the semicolon after the word harder and the comma after the word otherwise. So accordingly, we have to pause longer and shorter. The third punctuation mark, the colon makes a longer pause than the semicolon. In this manner it is used. Keats says, a thing of beauty is a joy forever. Shakespeare says, brevity is the soul of wit. Truth is God. God is truth. So you see how beautifully the use of colon has been made to make a longer pause to express the idea vested within these sentences. Next is the most commonly used punctuation mark, that is the full stop. The full stop indicates the close of a complete sentence. It is used in this way. Please help me. He writes a letter, and many more ways we use this just to complete the sentence. The fifth one, the mark, sign, note of interrogation. The mark of interrogation is used at the end of a direct question as who are you, what is your name, how are you going to school, will you have a cup of tea. Yes, we've seen many such questions. I also said earlier that we used interrogative marks in question tags too. The sixth punctuation mark, note of exclamation. The note of exclamation is used after words or sentences which express sudden feeling or wish. As you see in these sentences, hurrah, alas, bravo, we refer these words as interjection when they are used in sentences. Alas, I am undone. Fie, a soldier and afraid of death. May you live long are some examples of exclamation marks used in sentence to express feeling or a sudden strong feeling. The next important punctuation mark is the quotation marks, which is used to highlight or express the exact words spoken by the speaker. Inverted commas indicate the beginning and the end of a quotation or the actual words used by the speaker, as in these sentences. He said to me, comma, you are a good boy. Pope says, a little knowledge is a dangerous thing. The hyphen. To make compound words using nouns and adjectives as father-in-law, tug of war, 22, 1/4, director principal. An example of one of its kind, where you have the word father-in-law, 3 words, has a compound word, father, in and law, hyphenated with the hyphen. Well, we call such words as hyphenated words too. The dash is the next punctuation mark to indicate a break or sudden turn of thought, as in these sentences. Do not mix dash with the hyphen. Dash is a long line which is used to indicate a break or a sudden turn of thoughts. If my son were alive, but why think of the past? So you see, first the thought is if my son were alive, and then immediately the thought changed, but why think of the past? I was going to say, but would you mind listening to me? And Akshay, I think, is quite innocent. 3 places we have paused. The apostrophe is used to indicate the plural of letters and figures, as you see in these examples. Cross your T's, they look like L's. So have a look. T's with the apostrophe S and L's with the apostrophe S. For Mary's sake, to one's heart content, at one's wit's end. Well, apostrophe S also used to indicate belonging to someone. As you see in the second sentence, for Mary's sake, for the sake of Mary, to one's heart content, to the happiness of one's heart. So, we also use the apostrophe S to show belongingness. The brackets. The brackets are used to show doubt, as he was born in 1940. So you see the question mark written within the brackets. It is a use, or when you write a question mark within the bracket, it means we are expressing a doubt over here. And died in 1998. I visited the Taj Mahal. I don't remember the date, 2 years ago. So we've used the brackets to insert the doubtful situation within it. Finally, let us discuss about capital letters. Capital letters are used in the following cases: to begin a sentence, to begin each fresh line of poetry, to begin all proper nouns and their adjective forms, example Delhi, Rama, Africa, African, Shakespeare and Shakespearean, to begin all nouns and pronouns which indicate the deity, example the Lord, He is the God, to write pronoun, interjection, O example, like you see in this one, Hear, O Israel. Let us now take up a short exercise, a few sentences to practice the punctuation marks that we have just learned from the pictures. I have an exercise containing 10 to 12 sentences, beginning with simple and easy ones, going all the way up to lengthy and difficult punctuation marks. Let's do this together. Punctuate these sentences using capital letters and punctuation marks wherever necessary. First sentence. I have bought carrots, beans, tomatoes and onions. You see this set of words which is completely unpunctuated, it does not have any capitalizations also. So let us rewrite the sentence with the necessary capital letters and the punctuation marks. For the answer, the first letter must be a capital one. It's a very common rule that we learned. The sentence begins with a capital letter. I is the first letter or the first word in this sentence, so let's make it capital. Also we write I capital whenever we have it within the sentence. It's the first person singular. I have bought. Now you're trying to list out the things what you have brought. So we require commas to separate the different items. Carrots, comma, beans, comma, tomatoes, and before you write the last thing, we put the conjunction. Hence, you do not require. So what have we done? We have just put commas after nouns over here to separate the different nouns. Next one. Close the window, Gopi. Well, close the window, Gopi. A command being given over here. So Gopi is being asked to close the window. But how are we going to write this? Well, there are no punctuations given to us. So we need to insert the correct punctuations so that it brings out the proper meaning. So when a command is being given, we know very well that we require a full stop. The first letter must be capital of the first word should be the capitalized one. Therefore, we'll start with the capital C. Close the window. These are the words spoken by someone. Close the window. Whom is it being said to? Said to Gopi. So close the window, comma, and then you have the word Gopi, but we are not going to write Gopi with a small g, we will write with the capital G. And then the full stop over here. Close the window. You need a pause over here, and later on you will say, whom are you saying this to? To Gopi. Close the window, Gopi, then you have a full stop. So in this manner, we have written the sentence correctly. Next one. Number 3. David, where is my watch? Well, a question is being asked, isn't it? We're starting having the word David, where is my watch? So first David is being given a shout. So we need to write it accordingly. We need the punctuation mark. First of all, we require a capitalization. This is the first word, David. And then you're going to put a pause over there, write the comma, David. Then we'll be asking a question, where is my watch? Well, when we're asking a question over here, we will be capitalizing the word once again. Where is my watch? It is a separate sentence altogether. Separating the word David, that is the noun, from the rest of the words. David, and then you have a pause, and later on you're asking, where is my watch? So because you're asking a question, we require the interrogation or the question mark appropriately. Fourth one. I can't go to the office today, said Mr. Kumar. Well, there are a number of capitalizations as well as punctuation marks required to bring out the sense of this sentence. So let's write the answer. Carefully see. You have the first word non-capitalized. Also, if you see further, you will find the name of a person, Mr. Kumar, which is also not capitalized, and the other necessary things. So let's write it and understand. Beginning with the word I can't. So you see there's a contraction over here. Can't. Can plus not. So we will be requiring the punctuation mark apostrophe over here, which we learned, isn't it? I can't go to the office today. Well, I just wrote it, but do you find something important over here? Isn't it? This is the exact words spoken by Mr. Kumar. Hence, we will require to put it into the quoted speech. Hence, I am using the inverted commas, the open inverted and the close inverted commas. I can't go to the office today. These are the exact words spoken by Mr. Kumar. Further, we have said Mr. Kumar. Hence, I need to put a comma over here and then say said Mr. Kumar, which I need to capitalize, and finally I will end up with a full stop over here. So in this manner, I have completed the whole sentence in a punctuated manner. I can't go to the office today. Exact words, said Mr. Kumar. Well, let us see the next one. Number 5. She said, what a lovely garden. Well, looking in this sentence, again we have the word said over here, and then we have the words spoken by the speaker. Well, let us see what is the entire thing we punctuated over here. She said, what a lovely garden. To begin, I need the first word capital, therefore I am writing the S capital. She said. Now after the word said, the exact words start over here. Therefore, I need to put a comma over here, and then I must write the quoted speech in the inverted commas. What a lovely garden is being exclaimed by someone. A feeling of surprise is being shown by someone. Not a question is being asked just because we have the word what. What a lovely garden. Somebody is admiring the garden you have or someone has. Therefore, we require the exclamation mark undoubtedly. Then finally we require the inverted commas closed. What a lovely garden. The exclamation mark and the inverted commas closed. In this way, we have punctuated the sentence properly. Next one, number 6. I am not free now, said Sanjay. Can you come in the evening? Let me write it over here first. I am not free now, said Sanjay. Well, have a look at the sentence carefully. The beginning has the word I am, isn't it? So it's written over there im. Well, there is nothing as im, but if you carefully observe this word, it is I'm. That is the contraction given to you over here. Therefore, you need to use the apostrophe rather than using the two words separately. Well, you can understand for yourself that it means I am. But when you write it, you will have to write it with the apostrophe in this manner to begin the sentence. I'm not free now. So this was the thing said by Mr. Sanjay. It's the exact words he has spoken. Hence, we need to put it in the quoted speech. I am not free now. Well, who said this? Sanjay said this. Comma, said Sanjay. Sanjay is a proper noun, so we need to capitalize it. I am not free now, said Sanjay. Well, is Sanjay finished saying this? No. Sanjay is still saying something more. I am not free now, said Sanjay. And further he is saying, can you come in the evening? So again he is saying the person, can you come in the evening? So these are also the exact words spoken by Sanjay. So once again we need to put this into the quoted speech. Well, can you come in the evening? And then we have the quoted speech completed over here. But we require a comma over here. So we have two commas here as well as over here. Keep this in mind. We have two commas on both the sides. I am not free now. Can you come in the evening? Said Sanjay. Well, I can say this in this manner too. Then I will be having only one set of inverted commas, open and close. But this has been spoken in two parts and the speaker is being taken in the center over here in the sentence. I am not free now, said Sanjay. Can you come in the evening? Well, this is also one of the ways of writing the quoted speech. Next one, number 7. Have a careful look at this sentence where you will find two different meanings. The bus driver said the lorry driver was to blame for the accident. The bus driver said the lorry driver was to blame for the accident. Well, in this sentence you will realize how important it is to apply the commas. The bus driver said the lorry driver was to blame for the accident. Well, see how I'm going to apply the comma over here and rewrite the sentence in two different ways where the entire meaning will change. For the first instance, you will feel that the bus driver is blaming the lorry driver, but the same sentence with the same word can be written in a different way by applying different punctuations where it will mean the lorry driver is blaming the bus driver. Let us see how is this going to happen. Let us apply the commas in this way. First of all, let's capitalize the bus driver. The bus driver, where we are not applying any punctuation marks. The bus driver said, so we are saying the bus driver is saying something. The bus driver said. What did the bus driver say? The exact words spoken by the bus driver. The lorry driver was to blame for the accident. Now I am using the inverted commas and writing the lorry driver. The lorry driver was to blame for the accident. What is the meaning of this sentence? For the accident. It means that the bus driver is blaming the lorry driver by saying these exact words that the lorry driver was to blame for the accident, isn't it? That is what we mean. The bus driver said the lorry driver was to blame for the accident. But have a careful look. If I change the punctuation marks what is going to happen? The meaning of the sentence will change. Have a careful look. The bus driver, and if I apply the quoted speech over here, the punctuation mark, that is the inverted comma, the bus driver, in first place I am using the open and close quotations, the bus driver said the lorry driver. Now I have changed the position of my comma over here, said the lorry driver. Said the lorry driver, and what is he saying? Still he is saying something further by applying the comma, was to blame for the accident. So I hope you have acknowledged what I tried to explain. Have a careful look at the two sentences. The bus driver said, so we are not having any inverted commas over here. We are saying that the bus driver is saying something, and this is what he said. But in the second sentence, the bus driver said the lorry driver. So the bus driver was to blame for the accident. Who said these two quoted speech, these two things? The lorry driver said this. In this case, it is the lorry driver blaming the bus driver. In the previous case, the bus driver was blaming the lorry driver. But observe that the words are exactly the same. We have not changed the position of the words. We have only changed the position of the quoted speech, that is the inverted commas and the commas. Merely by doing this, the entire meaning changed. The bus driver said the lorry driver was to blame for the accident. So I hope you have realized and understood this, and how important it is to apply the commas or the inverted commas in the appropriate place to convey the meaning when writing something. Well, next sentence. Number 8. We are going to the beach this afternoon. Would you like to come with us? Carefully observe. You will find not one statement but two statements over here, two sentences over here. Let us see. We are going to the beach this afternoon. So something is being declared over here, something is being stated over here. A simple declaration is being done over here. So first of all, we need to capitalize it. We are going to the beach. Then this afternoon, then the question is being asked, would you like to come with us? Therefore, we need to finish our sentence over here, apply the full stop, and then continue with the word would, again capitalizing it. Because a question is being asked, we require a question mark as would you like to come with us? Be careful when you read such sentences having two types of sentences within it. We have declarative sentence followed by a interrogative sentence. Next one, number 9. I carry the bag for you, said Vinay. Thank you very much, said the old man. See how complex it is? I carry the bag for you. Said Vinay. Thank you very much. Said the old man. So have a careful look. We have two pieces of conversation over here. I carry the bag for you. So these are the exact words spoken by someone. Try to find out who it is. I carry the bag for you. So it is a help being offered by said Vinay. So Vinay is saying to the old man that I will help you to carry the bag. In return, the old man is saying, thank you very much, said the old man. Well, there are no punctuations at all used over here, which is improper, which does not help us to read the sentence. It has got no readability over here. Therefore, we require punctuations appropriately. Well, to begin, first of all, you need to see it is ill. Well, I am not saying ill. I am not talking about somebody's sickness over here. It is about a contraction over here. I will, which is written as ill over here. Therefore, I need to write I over here with the apostrophe s. Well, this is how the meaning is conveyed. I carry the bag for you. Well, these are the exact words spoken by Vinay, hence I need to put them in the quotation marks. The inverted commas open and close, followed by a comma, and then saying said Vinay, which needs to be capitalized. V-I-N-A-Y, but the V has to be capital. I carry the bag for you, said Vinay. Well, here we need to take a break over here, we need to take a pause over here because the conversation is being done by the other person now. But here Vinay finishes his talk over here, therefore I need a pause, a full stop over here. I carry the bag for you, said Vinay. Then reply, we are getting thank you, but these are the exact words spoken by the old man. Therefore, I need to put them into the quotation. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Quotations closed. Again, comma. Said the old man. So you see, it was in a way very easy, but it was complex as well. You need to be careful when you apply the quoted speech or the comma or the other things or the full stop, because it's very, very important. Otherwise, everything gets rushed into one another and it's very difficult to sense the meaning of the statement or the sentence given to us. Let us take one more. May I come in, sir? Said Salim. Yes, replied the teacher. See how fast I read out. May I come in, sir? Said Salim. Yes, replied the teacher. All at one breath I spoke out. Well, this is not to be spoken like this. If we have the punctuations over here, then it becomes very easy to understand and read too. Let us take up this one. Let's read this one more. May I come in, sir? Said Salim. Yes, replied the teacher. Well, reading it so fast without any punctuations will not bring out the essence or the meaning of the sentence. Let us punctuate this to understand the sentence better so that it can convey a proper message. May I come in, sir? Here we need to take a pause because someone is asking to the teacher. May I come in, sir? May I needs to be capitalized over here. Have a careful look. Come in, sir. Well, when you write this, what comes to your mind? Well, you must be thinking that it's the exact words spoken by the speaker, that is Salim. So we need to put this into the quoted speech, open and close quotations. May I come in, sir? And here comes our quotations to an end over here. Well, we require a comma. Said Salim. Well, Salim is non-capitalized. We need to capitalize. It's a proper noun. Full stop. So with this, we come to the end of the sentence spoken by Sunny. May I come in, sir? Said Sunny. So who is replying? Teacher is replying. Yes, replied the teacher. When you write this yes, will require a pause over there. Yes, pause, replied the teacher. Well, in this manner, we will be able to write this statement or this sentence. Next one, number 11. You must learn the following skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Well, let's write this first. You must learn the following skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Well, carefully, if you look at this, you will find that there are a number of skills that are being asked to learn over here. You must learn the following skills. So we are going to make a list of things, isn't it? So when we make a list of things, we require a punctuation mark. Let's just write this one and find out. Well, first of all, we need to capitalize the first word, you. You must learn the following. And then we require to make a list of things, the following skills. What are those skills over here? Listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Therefore, I need to apply the colon mark over here, isn't it? So far, we haven't used colon in any of our sentences. The first sentence, we got a chance to use the colon. So, you must learn the following skills. Then we need to put a colon over here, followed by the different kinds of skills that is being discussed in the unpunctuated sentence. Listening, then we have a comma, speaking, comma, reading, and writing. So here we do not require a comma. Finally, the full stop to end our sentence. Just a kind of declaration that is being made in the statement. Well, this was the 11th one. We have the last one, number 12. Let's go for a picnic next Sunday. Ramesh suggested, good idea, said Peter. Well, a little bit reading it like this. Let's go for a picnic. Let's go for a picnic next Sunday. Ramesh suggested. Good idea, said Peter. Well, completely unpunctuated statement, no punctuations, no capitalizations at all. We're going to insert and rectify it and rewrite it. Have a look at the first word. Two things are required over here. Isn't it? We need two things to be done over here. First of all, we need to capitalize it. We are beginning the sentence, so we require. But let's means it has a contraction over there. Let's is made up of let us go or whatever the sentence is required. So it's a contraction, hence we require the apostrophe s over there. So without the apostrophe, this cannot be done. So this is the error. This is how we need to write it. Let's go. Let us go. So here the us is mixed up over here. Let's go. So this is how we play the role, or the role of punctuation is played when you are writing something or the text. That is why punctuation learning is very important. Let's go for a picnic next Sunday. And again we have the word Sunday over here, the proper noun, hence we need to capitalize it. These are the words spoken by Ramesh. Ramesh suggested. Therefore, we need to put it into the quotation marks. It's a direct speech. Let's go for a picnic next Sunday. And the direct speech. Now I will putting full stop over here and writing a comma over here and writing Ramesh suggested. Who suggested this? Ramesh. Again, Ramesh is a proper noun. Hence, I need to capitalize the R. And then comes the end of my sentence. So you see, let's go for a picnic next Sunday. Ramesh suggested. Moving ahead, good idea, said Peter. So somebody is replying. Peter is replying by saying these words, the exact words spoken by Peter. Good idea. Hence, again I need to open the quotations and put the words good idea within it. So that's the exact words spoken by Peter. Comma, said Peter. Capitalizing the word Peter, it's a proper noun. And ending with a full stop. Well, so we had sentences spoken by people over here, that is Ramesh and Peter. So I hope this is clear to you. These were the 12 sentences that we had to punctuate. I hope this practice of punctuating the sentence must have helped you. See you soon in the upcoming lecture. Till then, take care. Have a nice day and goodbye.